Strange Harvest is a 2024 American film written and directed by Stuart Ortiz and stars Peter Zizzo, Terri and Jessee J. Clarkson. The plot follows two detectives detailing, their story of chasing down an elusive serial killer called Mr. Shiny in a mockumentary, found footage, style, kind of also true crime type horror film with an occult twist. So I've really been enjoying seeing found footage films in the theater again lately. Not saying that there haven't been any or anything like that, in the last couple of years, but I just didn't see them. And it could just be coincidence that I've seen I think I've seen two. I've seen two now in like the last month, and I would like that to be a regular thing, maybe, if the quality's there. I do really like the genre, and I think it works best in a dark, quiet theater, of course. Emphasis on the quiet. But that said, it's always blatantly obvious when certain horror movies are clearly found footage because of lack of a budget and even talent. So to me, there are very few decent found footage films. I think they're either very good or horrible, and not a ton in between. Usually in between means usually it's just boring. And since they are easier and cheaper to make, I tend to judge them a little harsher. I need them to be at least a step above average, and Strange Harvest is a few steps above average, in my opinion, which is a rare thing, and it was oddly refreshing. I know I keep calling it found footage, and I probably will until this video's over, but it really falls under the mockumentary banner. But it does have some found footage elements in the form of like police body cams and security cameras and stuff like that. So basically, here you have Detective Kirby and Detective Taylor, and they are being interviewed about a serial killer case they worked on for an upcoming documentary. And this isn't just any serial killer, it's someone that goes by the name of Mr. Shiny that leaves strange symbols at the scene of ritualistic murders. And what makes it even more unique is that Mr. Shiny killed 3 people in 1993 before disappearing literally for 30 years and returning to do it again. So Mr. Shiny is also the name of an H.P. Lovecraft, a name out of H.P. Lovecraft lore. I can't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, it's in there, and which is something that's always going to grab my attention. And Mr. Shiny in Lovecraft's writing is essentially a monster disguised as a human. So like a wolf in sheep's clothing type of thing. Ultimately, I think that's how our killer here sees himself in a way. But the biggest influence that I felt here would be the first season of True Detective. Although, quality-wise, not much compares with that. I mean, that first season was just lightning in a bottle. But I do see, I do see similarities here. I also got Zodiac vibes, which is maybe kind of obvious. I don't know. And maybe not so much the movie Zodiac, but the Zodiac killer himself with the mask and leaving behind cryptic symbols and messages. So yeah, maybe not a ton of like originality here, but we all have our influences, with what we do, and the combination of horror and true crime, it doesn't actually feel derivative or anything. That and the fact that everything here is just oddly well done, which I've grown not to expect with this type of horror. And I'm sure the budget was low. I couldn't find it listed anywhere. But this film never feels like super cheap. And I mean, the acting is solid across the board. No laughable amateurish performances that you would expect. And even the editing takes it up a step. The gore effects are good. Not the best you've ever seen, but they're good. And I always love seeing a filmmaker that can utilize a low budget very well. Those end up, being the filmmakers that I tend to follow the most. I keep the closest eye on them. We all know what can be done with $50 million, but what can you do with $100,000 or sometimes much, much less? So, back to the story. Although it's frustrating at times because you want to know more about Mr. Shiny and his motives, it was an interesting choice and kind of realistic feeling to make it clear that nobody really understands this guy. He's intentionally cryptic, and he does have an overall plan, but law enforcement does not really know what that is. And I'm not going to spoil anything, here, but there's a post-credits scene, so make sure to stay for that, because it shows that Detective Kirby is continuing his search to understand Mr. Shiny and all that, what led him to do this, and it hints at a possible sequel, which Stuart Ortiz has already expressed interest in. So I'm giving Strange Harvest a 6.5 out of 10. It is really good, and I recommend it to all fans of found footage and mockumentary type stuff. It's not going to be Lake Mungo, but still worth your time. And honestly, fans of true crime stuff would probably like it too, because it has that feel to it. And I liked the occult bend also, and I did want more of that. I wanted more of the occult touches that are in here. I wanted that to be pushed further. I guess that'd be kind of my main complaint, but that's okay. And if the sequel gets made, it looks like that. I think that will probably be explored. So I think I might really like the sequel too. So yeah, go out and see Strange Harvest. So that sequel can actually happen. Because reviews seem to be mostly really positive from what I've seen. I've seen all good reviews, but the box office numbers are so far don't look great. Again, I don't know what the budget was, so I don't know how much they need to make to for this to be a success. But it's not looking good, and this movie deserves better. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.